But we're going to talk about the celebrity deaths that occurred during the past week, including a cartoon villain. So let's get into that right now, shall we?
Am I stupid? Yeah. Okay, let's
I'm not.
continue.
I will not answer that question. All right. So you will notice to my immediate left over there, you'll see our third screen. Now that third screen is going to be that size, and sometimes it's going to be this size. Okay, but you guys will be able to see it hopefully at all times. I'm hoping to keep up on that. All right, and you guys will see what I'm talking about as we go forward. All right, because anytime I click over here, it will pause that part of it. Okay, and so then I have to go like this and like this to bring it back, okay? So we're going to talk about the celebrity deaths this week, and the very first one we're talking about is on June 24th, we have the demise of Shifty Shellshock, who is not a cartoon villain, although he possibly, with a name like that, should be. Here is Shifty right here. He was the vocalist, lead singer of Crazy Town, who was well known for the big single Butterfly. Shifty Shellshock, whose real name was, hello? Whose real name was Seth Brooks Binzer, passed away on June 24th at the age of 49 in Los Angeles, California. He was better known by his stage name Shifty Shellshock. He was an American rapper and singer-songwriter, best known for co-founding and fronting the rap rock band Crazy Town. And not too many rap rock bands out there. So he was kind of a pioneer. I can kind of think of like maybe Linkin Park and Beastie
Limp,
Boys and
Limp Biscuit.
Limp Biscuit, yeah, for sure. I love that. Makes him kind of a pioneer. I hate that he died so young at 49, and it doesn't really say what he passed away from either. So if anybody knows, let us know. But that is Shifty Shellshock. I would love to know how he got his name as well, and unfortunately, I cannot ask him. But he did have addiction problems, so hopefully his demise was not part of an addiction issue.
All shifty.
Yep. Next up, we have Rob Stone, who was an American record producer, founder of Cornerstone, and co-founder of The Fader. Here is Rob Stone right here. He passed away on June 24th at the age of 55. Was also music related, Mr. Rob Stone. And I believe he was Canadian, perhaps, if I
Kind of
recall
dying.
correctly. Maybe not. I don't know. But he worked with acts such as Notorious B.I.G., Usher, Puffy, Outkast, Faith Evans. A lot of really big artists that he collaborated with. So R.I.P. Rob Stone. Next up, let's see if I can do his name as well as I did last night.
Let's see if you remember it.
We have Sika Anoa'i. Let's go! A member of the famous Samoan wrestling dynasty, the Anoa'i family. He was one half of the WWF World Tag Team Champions, the Wild Samoans, and also, probably better known today as the father of Roman Reigns, who is currently, in my opinion, the face of today's WWE. Also an uncle of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And like I said yesterday, dang near every single Samoan wrestler, not all, but dang near all, is related to the Anoa'i family in some form or fashion. Were you aware of the Anoa'i family?
Absolutely not. To be completely honest, I was never into wrestling or anything. I wasn't into a lot of things because I had old parents. Love you, mom. Love you, dad. But you're old. Um, and Jackson is like super into it, so I've kind of like I know who
Hmm.
we're talking about. I
So
know a few things,
Jackson
but
and
not.
I need to get together because I am a huge, huge wrestling fan. Huge wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I legit go crazy with the storylines. The storylines are so good nowadays, and I get it. It's they've always said it's like the male soap opera, but I love it. It's good when the stories are good. The stories are good. But
Hmm.
anyway, Sika passing away was unfortunate. He was aged 79, and I don't even want to try to. You know what? I'll try it. His real name was Liati Sika Anoa'i. That was his full name.
That sounds pretty accurate, dude. I'm sitting here like, I ain't doing it.
We'll try it one more time. Liati Sika Amituana'i Anawahi.
Uh-huh.
Let's go. Um,
I could have done it better, and I think that's probably close, if not it.
I hope so. Next up on the celebrity or notable deaths, we move to Miss Jewel Brown. Here's a picture of Jewel. She was an American jazz and blues singer, originally from Houston, Texas, who passed away on June 25th at the age of 86. Best known for performing alongside artists such as Dizzy Gillespie and Louis Armstrong, she was inducted into the Blues Smithsonian Hall of Fame in 2007. She was also nominated for a Blues Music Award in the Coco Taylor Awards. Um, and she was phenomenal. Great, great vocalist. I checked her out. Sad to say Jewel Brown is no longer with us. Next
Rip.
up on the list is going to be somebody, again, we talked about this last night, Kadie, where you recognize somebody by face but not by name. And unfortunately,
Mm.
we do have a couple of folks that passed away this week that we all know if we watch film and TV
Mhm.
that we may not know by name. And the first one of those is Mr. Bill Cobbs, pictured here. Bill Cobbs was an American actor known for such films as The Hitter, The Brother from Another Planet, Night at the Museum, Oz the Great and Powerful, as well as TV shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, The Sopranos, The Michael Richards Show. And he also won a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Limited Performance in a Daytime Program for the series Dino Dana.
Mm.
Mr. Cobbs was 90 years old, passed away on June 25th in Riverside, California, and was active in acting right up until last year at 90
Mm-hmm.
years old.
Dang.
And we've all seen Mr. Cobbs in something, just a very familiar face, as y'all can see.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we're going to move to the country to the north, Canada. This is Ray Saint
Banana.
Germain. Ray Saint Germain passed away. Let me see here on June 25th. He was a Canadian singer, author, and television host. Pictured here, his nickname was the Winnipeg Elvis. He
And
grew
his
up.
brother is Conway Twitty.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that last night. He looks more like Conway Twitty.
I swear to God, now that I see it again, Conway Twitty.
Big time, absolutely. But he performed with such greats as Johnny Cash, Porter Wagner, Johnny Horton. Um, he's traveled all over the world with his music. Started out on the accordion, ended up a pretty dang good guitarist. Ray Saint Germain passed away June 25th. One of these,
25th.
this one here was not talked about last night, Kadie, which means it was announced since then. Gary Grant passed away. Now, Gary Grant, let me see here. I'm going to click on this right here.
Boom.
Gary Grant passed away on June 26th. He was a trumpet player, composer, and producer, and also a session musician who played on hundreds of recordings that were used in commercials. Passed away. It does not say what age he was, sadly, but he also
Hey,
recorded with Quincy
yeah.
Jones and a bunch of other bands as well.
You missed a big part of it. He collaborated with
I see
Michael
that.
Jackson, Barbara Celine Dion,
Yeah, exactly.
Sinatra, Elton John, Aerosmith.
Like, what a list, right?
Yeah.
So he was probably one of the go-to trumpet players, or trumpeteers as they call them. And again, here he is right here, Mr. Gary Grant. 25 years of recording experience with jazz, pop, and easy listening. He was, let me see here. It still does not say how old he was. I guess it
Hmm.
does not really matter. But anyway, another amazing musician that has passed on, Gary Grant, is no longer with us. Next up, I
Real.
believe we have another person that did not make the list last night,
You.
which is sad because if you don't make the list, I feel bad about that if it's announced later. But this is Renauld White, who is a trailblazing model who passed away on Wednesday at the age of 80. And he's a trailblazer because obviously he's a male African American model who helped to improve diversity in fashion magazines and on designer runways. I read about this a little bit last night. He was the first black model to have had the honor of being on the cover of GQ. Or I'm sorry, he was the
Nice.
second black model to appear on the cover.
Oh, that's still dope.
Yeah, amazing. Very cool stuff. Renauld
Mm-hmm.
White was 80 years old at the time of his passing. But there's a picture of him as well. I guess there's some older pictures here, too. Let me see if I can show those. Look at this.
Look at
Handsome guy.
him pimping.
Hell yeah.
1985.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Pimping.
stuff. Next up, of course, we have. I know Kadie and I both have a lot of mutual friends with this guy. Hold on, guys. I know it's not showing yet. I just have to work this out for y'all. Let's see here.
Boom.
So we have the death of Kinky Friedman on June 27th. Kinky Friedman was a Texas icon, not originally from Texas, but got here as quick as he could. He was a singer, songwriter, novelist, humorist, politician, and columnist for Texas Monthly. He was also a gubernatorial candidate in the state of Texas in 2006, and he received almost 13% of the vote, which placed him fourth for the race for governor that year. I have loads of friends who were posting tributes to Kinky on Facebook and other places. I asked you last night, you never met Kinky, right? That you know
I
of?
don't believe so. He looks very, very familiar, so I might have seen him at some point, but I definitely know the name.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I wish I had met him based on all the stories that I've heard since he passed on what a unique individual he was. Played country, progressive country, outlaw country, country rock. Was both a Republican and a Democrat as part of his long life, and highly educated as well. So, just a big loss for the state of Texas and beyond. Kinky Friedman, gone at the age of 79. Passed away in Medina, Texas at the age of 79. Let's see here. Moving on. We got the second person who people will know the face but not necessarily the name. Martin Mull, the Grammy and Emmy nominated actor and comedian, has died at the age of 80 as well. Passed away on Thursday, June 27th. Best known for his roles in Fernwood Tonight and Roseanne, among many, 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 many others. Also a singer-songwriter in his time. Played in Roseanne, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Danny Phantom, Arrested Development, Two and a Half Men. I mean, you name it, he's played in it. Passed away in Los Angeles on the 27th at the age of 80. How well did you know Martin Mull, Kadie?
Um, I have seen his face. I know like all of that, like every one of those like shows and everything. I know all of that, so I know his stuff, and I know his face, but I'm awful. Remember, I can't, I have a pea brain and like a nothing memory.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not
so
real
bad.
good with names either, but when I see somebody's
Okay.
face, like I'll be like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know
oh,
that
I've
person.
seen you.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Unfortunately for the San Francisco Giants organization, who just lost the greatest player who ever lived, Willie Mays, last week, this week, Orlando Cepeda has passed away, who was also a mainstay with the San Francisco Giants, also a Puerto Rican Hall of Famer, one of the few Hall of Fame baseball players from the island of Puerto Rico, nicknamed the Baby Bull and Perucan. He was a first baseman in Major League Baseball who played for 6 teams from 1958 to 1974. Passed away at the age of 86 in Concord, California. And I know of Orlando Cepeda because of my favorite team, the Red Sox. He was the answer to a trivia question, the very first ever designated hitter to play for the Red Sox. I believe that was in 1971 that the designated hitter rule was put into effect. And he was the very first one to play that position for the Red Sox. So,
No.
unfortunately for the Giants, they've lost Willie Mays and Orlando Cepeda, 2 Hall of Famers in the span of a week or a week and a half. So be careful if you're a Hall of Fame Giants player out there, guys. Please. Bubble wrap. Don't leave the house.
Get in your bunker.
That's right. Now we're going to talk about the ironic death of the week. The Brazilian footballer, Dudu, has passed away.
Can you tell me why I reacted like that? I'm like, yay!
Now, Dudu's real name was Olegario Toloi de Oliveira. He passed away on June 28th, and he was really old, 61, 85. He was 84 years old at the time of his death. And here is the ironic part of the story right here. If you are an American or an English speaker, this man, whose name is Dudu, passed away of an abdominal infection.
He had a bad case of the.
He had perhaps not enough or too much of the doo-doo. Maybe.
He had a bad case of the.
Doo-doo. Oh my God, that doo-doo has passed. Yeah,
We're so awful.
I mean, that's always good when you're constipated, right? When the doo-doo has finally passed.
Well, he has.
He has indeed. He has indeed. Nothing worse than Brazilian doo-doo, because that's a lot of poop, if you know what I mean. A Brazilian doo-doo. Nah, we'll forget it. Forget it! All right, moving on. We've got Marty Pavelich, who was a hockey player for the Detroit Red Wings. Let me see here. Passed away at the age of 96, Katie Lynn, in Big Sky, Montana.
That's old as dirt.
Marty Pavelich was a 4-time Stanley Cup Award winner. That means he's a 4-time world champion. Now, mind you, back when he won the Stanley Cup, there were probably only like 3 teams in the NHL, which I don't think is fair. You get all these multiple world champions when there were only 4, 5, 6 teams. Like, what? Can you imagine being one of 6 teams and never winning the world title?
Man, you said 1 of 4. I have a 25% chance.
That's right. That's right. Not today, though, when there's like 32 teams in all of these leagues, man. It's so hard to win a world title nowadays. So, like, nowadays, you say 4-time world champion, and you're like, yo, but he won these in the 50s when there were probably 6 hockey teams in the league. So you could almost be like, how come you didn't win more, Marty? Huh?
Come on now. What's the holdup?
Not to mention, he did play with the world's best player at the time, Gordie Howe, who was like Mr. Hockey. So, yeah, coattails. I'm not saying, I mean, whatever. Anyway, moving on to the oldest person on our list this week. This is Shi Ping, who was born Shi on November 1st, 1911. That's right. This man right here was born in 1911, which makes him 112 years old at the time of his passing. He was a Chinese politician, essentially, is what he was. Communist politician. Yeah, died on June 29th, aged 112 years, 241 days. That is absolutely insane.
Absolutely insane.
His spouse, ladies and gentlemen, this is something we did not catch yesterday, Kadie. His spouse died in 1935.
Died?
Yes. My man has been widowed since before the World War II. Right there.
What?
That's insanity, bro.
Man, that's fucking loyalty right there.
Yeah, like no remarriage or anything. I wonder if that's like a Chinese thing, like you're not allowed to get remarried. If that's the case, my God, man, he probably was ready to die like 80 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, wow, 112 years old and widowed since 1935. That means he was a widow for 89 years of his life. That's insane.
That's
wow.
Sad.
It is sad. It is sad. All right, next up we have another new addition to the list that wasn't here yesterday when we recorded. Peter Collins has died at the age of 73. Peter Collins was a legendary record producer who had a history of working on every genre imaginable, from pop to rockabilly to ska to, of course, metal. Sadly died at the age of 73. Amongst his great metal albums include Queensryche's classic Operation Mindcrime, Suicidal Tendencies, The Art of Rebellion, Alice Cooper's Hey Stupid, and Ultra Spank's Progress. Yeah, Peter Collins, who was not on this list yesterday, made the list today. Peter Collins.
I've heard of him.
Let me see if there's more info here for him. Give me a second, guys.
Because I don't feel like I would like really know him from any of that.
So he passed away in Nashville. He was originally from England. And he was an English record producer, arranger, and audio engineer. He produced records by Gary Moore, Bon Jovi, Billy Squier, Rush, Air Supply, Alice Cooper, Nick Kershaw, Black Mange, Suicidal Tendencies, Queensryche, Indigo Girls, Nancy Griffith, Germain Stewart, Jane Weedlin, October Project, The Cardigans, Rosetta Stone, Josh Joplin, Tracy Ullman, Drake Bell, Ultra Spank, and the Brian Setzer Orchestra.
No Drake Bell. No Drake Bell. We're not talking about him. I love Rush though. Love Rush. That's probably where I got that.
What an eclectic mix of music that he's worked on, man.
And John Bovey.
Yeah, John Bovey. Second on the list. Wow, Gary Moore got top billing there. Let's go. All right, last one from July 1st. We have June Leaf, who was an artist, an American artist, a painter and sculptor, whose exploration of the female form, by turns whimsical, graceful, and ominous, paved the way for later generations of feminist artists, died on Monday at her home in Manhattan. She was 94. She passed away yesterday. Here she is pictured in 1975. And she passed away of gastric cancer.
Well, that's sad. She sounds like a badass, though.
Here's some of her work here. Pretty cool.
She sounds like a badass.
And she was a sculptor, too, so here's some of her sculptures. So, yeah, June Leaf is no longer with us. What a name, too. I wonder if that was her, in fact, her real name.
I like it.
Who knows?